Welcome everyone in the platform sprint review. We are going to present the sprint 75 review here, and the team's prepared so much and ready to show you what they've been working in the past 2 weeks. This is our second live review, and basically it is going to take around 90 minutes. We are planning to 90 minutes, but we assume that we are going to close a little sooner, but always it depends on your questions, which you can put in the YouTube comments. So please feel free to ask questions, and that we are going to get back to each question at the end of the sprint review. Yeah. So may I hand it over to Maciek?
Yes. Thank you, Balázs. Hi, I'm Maciek. I'm not sure if I actually introduced myself 2 weeks ago, but I'm the one that published the announcement on Discord. I'm performing the role of technical product owner for the platform project. And let me introduce you in some goals of the whole team that we've been pushing forward to accomplishing them. Obviously, all of the platform project is now under moving towards deploying testnet with the version 0.22, which still unfortunately didn't happen because of some issues in terms of data operations on our unique storage system, and around integrating this storage system within the whole platform. But it will be covered later on by the particular team members. Let's just remind that we have 4 main components of the whole platform service, that is protocol, GrooveDB, SDK, and TenderDash. All of them has separated teams that are just specialized in these areas, and integrating of such complex service is a big challenge. That's why we're still facing some difficulties here. But as I said, let's leave it for particular guys to cover that. I just wanted to emphasize that we'll be having today very interesting demonstrations from actually each of those components, so you can see like the software that has been just built, how it operates, what changes does it bring, what impact does it bring on performance, on time of execution of particular operations, and so on. From that point, I could just hand the voice to the team, and then get back at the end of the meeting to cover plans for upcoming weeks and refer to some questions.
Thank you.
So very quickly, I just would like to say that we just heard from Balázs Bezi, who is Scrum Master for the platform team.
Thank you very much. I forgot to introduce myself. Thank you.
And Maciek, I'm going to mispronounce your last name. Can you say it? Maciek?
Yeah, it's very actually, it's kind of a challenge for people that are not Polish. But my last name is Sikora. Okay. So that's the most, let's say, Americanized version of my last name. But yeah, that's it.
Who is product owner of the platform team. And I am Samuel Westrich. I'm the CTO at DashCore. This last sprint, I did code a little bit, much less than the previous sprint, but I did want to explain the coding items that I did do. And I will be starting off this presentation with those items. So the first one that we did was support nested properties in document type in RS Drive. And this has to do with a part of how our system has always worked, where you can have nested objects inside of your data contracts. For example, you can have, let me try to give an example here. Let's say you had a restaurant, and inside the restaurant, you had a nested object called type, restaurant type. And inside the type, there were two properties. One would be the food location, the continent of the food type, and then the other one would be maybe a sub-item of type like pizzeria, or so you could have like Asian pizzeria as a food type. Anyways, that would be a nested property inside of an object. So our system has supported this, but our data storage did not. So yeah, I worked on that and I built that out. And then the rest of the team did verify that it was working and everything is great. Then the remove, another thing that was almost accomplished was remove empty trees when index property value is changed. So this basically means that, let's imagine that we have the way the database structure works is things are nested in and then grouped together. But when you have a big group of elements nested inside a tree, and all of those things have been deleted, then the path above it also needs to be deleted, and to kind of like clean up. This was currently not being done. It had been somewhat overlooked, so we included this. It has not yet been accomplished because we're having some interesting issue around deletion, and we're currently looking into that. That's something that me and other people have been working on pretty much all day today. And with that, I will pass it on to Ivan to continue this slide.
Thank you, Sam. My name is Ivan Shimkov. I'm a principal developer of the platform team, and we worked mostly these 2 weeks on the integration of the GrowthDB and Errors Drive and secondary indices and overall. And since the secondary indices with GrowthDB has several limitations comparing with the previous storage, the MongoDB, what we used, we need to basically add some restrictions on the how where where clauses and in document queries and overall should be defined. So I'm not going to go into deep in details, but the allowing the variable order for indexed properties and where clauses in the first iteration you had to specify the all clauses in the sequence, how you define them in the indices for document. But we made some improvements to make it more flexible, so you can use like variable order like previously with MongoDB. The next task, Sam already talked about that last presentation. So basically we can use not just the offset, the number from which document you want to get the which index of document from your query you want to get the documents, which is very important for pagination, right? And these improvements allow you to specify the document.
Ivan, I just would like to add one thing quickly. Last time I presented it because it had been done in the database, and this time you're presenting it because it was done in the validation, correct?
Yeah, validation also in SDK.
Yeah, just want to know that.
Yeah, so and now you don't need to calculate the offset, the correct offset. You just get the first page of your information and take the last document and say, give me more since this document. The next one is more like constraint in the first initial version of the cryptographic approvable secondary indices. We are not going to support arrays, unfortunately. It will take more time, so it will be featured for the next version. When I'm talking about the array, I mean, for now, you won't be able to index array properties and use the array-based operators in your queries. But since, according to our poll in the dev discords, not so many people is using it for now. So I hope you guys will forgive us.
This is nested arrays. Just be clear. Nested arrays.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, then you specify the properties as array, and you want to search by the in the items inside. Okay, so the next task, the update query validation rules, it's the same. So we have some restrictions comparing with the MongoDB. So we just changed the validation rules in Drive to provide the verbose errors, like what exactly wrong in this query. This part will be improved in the next version as well. The probably most significant efforts we put to the bindings. So let me explain what is it. RS Drive written in Rust, and we want to use this functionality in JS Drive, which runs the Node.js runtime. So we need to run the call this Rust functions inside Node.js. For that, you need to build kind of bridge between the Rust and JavaScript, so you can use this Rust library as normal JavaScript thing in your project. I can show you a little bit how it looks. Oh, it seems like I can't share my screen. Oh, now I can. Thanks. Is it line? Yeah, I hope you guys see my screen.
It's all fine.
Yep.
Awesome. So you may see it's a RS Drive project open in my editor, and this is the node crate. So it's defined the wrappers for every function what you want to expose, and it has some additional functionality to read arguments from JavaScript. It's a lot of stuff of conversion back and forth. And the most important that these functions what we expose, they become available in the JavaScript code. So this is like JavaScript file, and we can use these functions and we add some kind of sugar around to make them more useful. And this is for GrowthDB, this is for Drive, and we have a test, so we can test this out. Yeah. So this is testing of the functions what we expose. And now we can finally use the drive, the RS Drive and in JavaScript drive. That's right. Yeah, Balázs, could you please share the slides back? Awesome. So, and the last task, it's more like, I would say, umbrella for many work what you already did. You may find a huge pull request in the platform monorepo, where we just strip out all the MongoDB and previous logic and replace it with Drive and with Ares Drive and GroveDB. And the integration process is pretty complex thing. So you need to make sure that two things work properly together. So we're fixing bugs in Ares Drive side, on JS Drive side, and also so it takes time. And the most important ones is non-deterministic bugs. So basically, when the logic what you execute produce the different result depending on the some additional like the
randomness.
Thank you. So basically, it's happening. For example, when you use hash maps and hash map is not ordered, and or when you use just random generator or time or something which is like platform related. And in our case, when we have like the state-centric system and we build the root tree like on top of all data, the Merkle root, and Merkle root must be the same on all nodes for specific block height. So yeah, that's kind of tricky part of this work.
Can I add something really quickly?
Sure.
So one of those errors was in my code. I can't believe it. I said it, but it was in some of my code that I wrote. And just for the developers out there, I'd like to explain very, very quickly what was going on. A hash map in Rust is a key value dictionary, right? In many languages, it's also like that. But the thing is, it's the order in which it's stored key value is non-deterministic. And when you iterate through it, if you're inserting in one order or you're inserting in another order, let's say you had two types of tables, person and dog, right? And then you inserted person and then dog on one device, and then dog and then person on the other device. Well, it would cause problems. And that's because the tree structure that we use, if you insert, it's order dependent because it's a Merkleized AVL tree, and AVL tree is order dependent. So, anyways, would be just some extra information.
Anyways, Shemkov spent 2 days. That's great.
and I was like, it's your fault, but it ended up being my fault. So.
Let's go to the next slide. Thank you.
Thank you. Javid, Kostya.
Okay, so it's our turn, right? Let me share my screen. Oh, I cannot. Okay.
Now you can. Now you can.
Thank you.
Try again.
Can you see the sharing?
Yeah.
All right. So hello, everyone. My name is Javid. I'm working as an engineer here at Dash, and I will be your wonderful guide to the wonderful world of Masternode Identities. Sorry for looking too blurry and static. I blame it on COVID, but let's roll, I guess. So first of all, I would like to explain to you what's the motivation behind Masternode Identities and why we started all this. So basically, we would like to incentivize masternodes for participating in the work of all the platform services there are there. And for that, we need to reward masternodes. However, on platform, we do operate with credits. And credits are associated with identities on the platform. So for masternodes to get some credits, they have to have some identities registered on the platform itself. So but this one won't work if we're not going to make this process an automatic thing. So that's what we did in the end. And I would like to explain to how it works actually. So this whole thing happens on drive side. The drive is starting from the beginning of the blockchain and basically scans everything and then watching for every change in simplified masternode list, basically. So if new masternode is added there, or if masternode removed from the list for some reason, like spent collateral or banned, or is it updated, drive is basically updating everything on the platform. So for every masternode, we are registering an owner identity, as well as if an operator reward is specified on the blockchain, we do register a separate identity for operator as well. So we do use there the owner and operator keys as identities, master public keys, to handle all the operations. Moreover, those identities that are being registered, we can use them, reuse them later on for other activities, like maybe voting or to participate in some government applications on the platform. So this is quickly how it works. There is another detail I would like to explain is to make things more flexible. We are having a special system data contract registered on the platform, which is called Masternode Reward Shares data contract. Simple as that. Basically, it describes like what percentage of the shares are like Masternode actually shares with different identity, basically. So from the start, it's automatically created for an operator. So we have this system data contract registered on the platform beforehand, and for an operator, we register a special document which contains a reference to an identity to the operator and some percentage which we actually share, which is specified on the L1 level. And moreover, it can be shared to other identities as well. So the system is flexible. Basically, you can register another document which can reference to another existing identity and like share the reward with this specific identity as well. And that's why this contract is actually exists. What else? Actually, the system is missing a few concepts, like you can receive a reward, but there is currently no way of withdrawing it back to Dash. So you still have your credits or bound to an identity no matter what, but there is no way to withdraw it to Dash, and this is currently in the works. There is no credit transfer as well, and this will be implemented next. And we still need to implement a specific key purpose, like identity public key purpose for withdrawal, but this will be implemented basically as the same step, because they're like the same thing bound together. So, well, this is basically a quick information about that. And any questions, maybe, before Konstantin continues with his small demo?
All right, thank you. Please stop your screen sharing so Kostya can.
Kostya, would you like to take over?
Yeah, sure. Hello, my name is Konstantin, and I'm one of the platform developers, and I'm going to show you a small demo with Masternode Identities. So, do you see my screen?
Yep.
Cool. Okay, so let's start local network. Here you can see the platform, which is opened in my editor. And right now we are starting the local network, which was created with our Dashmate tool. Here we have 3 master nodes and 1 seed node. I will show you them in a moment. Let's wait a little bit. To start them. Just a few seconds more. Okay, network is started, so we can go here. Here you can see that we have the master nodes and 1 seed node in Docker. So let's go to the first core master node. So here you can see that we have 3 master nodes, 1, 2, and 3. And you can see all their keys. So let's go back to the code. Here is that test from our platform test suite that we use to test all the functionality that we have using either local network or testnet. And here is the test. In this test, we fetch the list of master nodes, and after that, we fetch identities for each master node. And here is the list, so we can see the same PRORECTX hashes of master nodes and their identities that were created using Masternode shared data contract that Javid was talked about a few minutes ago. Here is it.
Thank you.
Yeah, so Alash, could you share the slides?
I'm on it.
So, and the next thing I would like to talk about is are a couple of bugs that were fixed during the sprint. The first, remove fee cumulative fixed feature flag. So we have some legacy code that fixed some issues. That was fixing some issues. We fixed this, and so we don't need it anymore because everything works fine right now. So we removed it. The second one is related to SDK. There was a problem with cached contracts, and it was fixed as well. And the last one, we have a new property read-only in identity public key, and it was not required. So there was a situation that it could be undefined. So right now it is required. So you have to set this value every time. So everything works fine. That's it.
All right, thank you. And hand it over to Wisdom, I guess.
Yeah, can you go back one slide?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we implemented a subset of the SQL language to allow us query RS drive. This is essentially to make the debugging process a lot easier and more efficient, because of this is like a compact language that can allow us easily make queries. I'm going to be showing a demo to demonstrate this feature. So can we see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So last time Sam showed a demo app that queries RS Drive, basically an interface to RS Drive. So I'm going to be using the same application, but now integrated with the SQL functionality. Also, another thing I would like to notice is that last time we couldn't insert a lot of documents because of it was just too slow. At that time, we're working on the lazy loading of Merc. It was in review, but now it is done. So I would also use this opportunity to demonstrate that. So this operation I'm about to take would have taken like 10 minutes before to insert 1,000 documents and all the secondary indices. So with the new fix, it takes basically 2.5 seconds. So now let me show the SQL. So this time we're going to select everything from person, which is the document type. And as you can see, we have like most of them. So we can select everything from person, and we can limit to just, let's say 10. And select everything from person where age is equal to 64. Oh, I was supposed to order. Give me a sec. Okay, so now we can see all the documents that have the age equals 64. We also have starts with. Now this can give us every single document that has first name starting with C. So these are all the documents that start with C. So basically, we would continually add more operations as we increase the capabilities of Drive. And then the QA team, or basically anyone who wants to test, can use this to easily query and figure out if there are bugs and replicate issues. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, I guess it's my turn.
Hey, Evgeny, please.
I'm Evgeny, and from GroupDB team. I'll talk a bit about recent updates here. First, the sprint was about integration as usual with Drive and there were JS bindings mentioned before in previous review, but we did them, but we didn't accept the pipeline for Linux IRM architecture. So we took it as low priority, but it turned out that the development environment for Drive on machines with Apple Silicon requires GrooveDB bindings built for the chiplet listed on the slide, which is on the first bullet. And so it's the first thing that we worked on, mostly Ivan and I. And so finally, it unblocks integration of GrooveDB with JavaScript, and that's awesome. The initial version of GrooveDB, we tried to make it to release it as fast as I can, and as usual, there are multiple ways to do the same thing. We chose the faster one with trade-offs, and we accumulated some tech debt. And so in this sprint, we improved our CI with small things like heavy linter usage and more heavy things like refactoring of internal APIs, namely refactor subtrees APIs for path. And okay, nothing fascinating, but still essential. And as we have first users of GrooveDB, I mean teammates who work hard on integration, first issues were found. Good thing that there are not many of them, and we found them this early. And about those bugs and missing features that we fixed, and about those that are still in progress, Sam and Wisdom will speak a bit more. So Sam, please.
Yeah, sure. One of the things that I was talking about earlier about delete, how we had to kind of clean up, it was better to write it in the GrooveDB part. So I created a delete if empty. Well, it was actually in multiple steps, but one of them was delete if empty. So it checks to see if a path in GrooveDB is actually empty, meaning that it's a subtree, but the subtree has no elements underneath. This is somewhat hard to explain, and I don't think we really need to go in depth, but it has been done. In terms of, we also did a small change about subtree node hashing. It's very, very minor. I don't think we need to talk about it. It's not a big amount of work. But let's go on to Wisdom with the last two items.
Okay, so one of the issues we fixed again was deletion of subtrees with transactions. There was a very special edge case whereby you delete, but then it makes the parent empty. So the child is empty and the parent will become empty after you delete the child. So that was the edge case, which we didn't handle before. We fixed that this sprint. Then another issue we fixed was when you insert so many documents in a transaction, like a lot of documents, there is an error with a log file not being created. The problem was basically that the database was being dropped earlier than it was supposed to be. So we fixed this issue also. Yeah. So we'll move on to the next.
Thank you, Wisdom. I hand it over to Igor. Igor?
Almost there.
All right.
Yeah.
Do you want to share your screen right now?
I do, but
all right.
I guess Wisdom have to disable the screen sharing.
No, I need to disable.
You do. Yeah. Okay.
Now you can.
All right. sharing right now.
Yeah.
All right. So for the first point on the slide, I will speak for the Alex Werner, who couldn't join the sprint review today. And this is about the DashPay feature. Let me first elaborate on that a little bit. So I consider DashPay as a tremendous improvement of the user experience in the crypto payments field. Using DashPay, people will be able to establish contacts with each other using human readable names instead of the Dash addresses. With this feature, exchanging funds becomes simpler and more reliable because user just can type the name of a friend instead of looking in the list of the Dash addresses. And you know, this sometimes kind of considered as juggling with sharp knives, crypto payments and these addresses. In this sprint, Alex prepared a foundation for a significant architectural change in Dash Wallet. And this change will help us to orchestrate different keychains in the wallet library. So on the slide, on the diagram on the screen, you can see the original way of handling the keychain. There was only one key store which could have handled either BIP44 derivation path or a single private key for simple addresses. And now the key store is more advanced and it can hold multiple keychains for multiple purposes. So far we have like regular BIP44 path, DIP9 keychain path, which is used for identities, and DIP15, which is used for actual DashPay feature. And also it's will be suitable for future keychains if there will be any. Aside from that, Alex prepared a storage refactoring, and instead of a huge mixed structure, we have now 4 different stores, which I believe will be easier to maintain and to interact with. And the next goal will be to assemble all these pieces together and expose DashPay API in the SDK. For the next thing is our continuation of the PSPV effort. And in the previous review, I demonstrated functionality that obtains block headers from the chain and verifies them against each other. In this sprint, we decided that it will be really nice to try using this new functionality for one quick win related to the problem with obtaining of the transaction metadata, such as a blockade. On this diagram, you can see how it works currently. We have a HTTP stream which subscribes to transactions, obtains them, and then for every transaction, so we are querying API again, because we would like to figure out what is the blockade for this transaction, what is the block hash, and so on. So in certain cases, like if multiple users have multiple 100 transactions and they are all querying the same API node, they can really give it a hard time. So the new way is to use our new block headers verification functionality. So we kind of reading both types of chain data in parallel. We are finding a Merkle block for transaction, obtaining relevant block header with its height, and that's pretty much how it's done. I will quickly demonstrate it in this small proof of concept. On the left side of the screen, you can see the original. I load the current version of SDK here, and I will show you what happens in the network tab. So here's Talgon, and boom, 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 get transaction requests, a lot of them. And at the right side, it's pretty much the same, but with the data, with the metadata coming from block headers. Yep. So the network tab is nice and clean, and yeah, we now have transactions also loaded for our wallet. Yeah, as I said, this is a small proof of concept of these things, and during the next weeks, we should complete this part of the integration with the wallet. The rest 2 bullets related to increasing reliability of the block headers synchronization process, improving error handling, and one small bug fix related to the instant send logs parsing. That's pretty much it from my side. And I'm handing this over to Mikhail.
Thank you.
Excellent demo. Congrats.
Thank you.
Thank you, Igor.
Hey, I'm Mikhail from the SDK part of the team. We was working on the caching of the Unchained data in DAPI. We decreased the number of RPC calls to the dashboard node when multiple clients are connected to the same DAPI instances. So that means that when you request the same data, but multiple times, it won't call the dashboard node. Instead of it, it will load everything from the cache. Like the first request will load the actual dashcore data. It will call it from the dashcore, and the subsequent, like the second, the third calls will be cached. And this allows us to decrease the load on the DAPI nodes and also protect us from the denial of the service attack. So yeah, that's it from my side.
Thank you, Mikhail. All right, so I hand it over to Maciek if you are able.
Yes, that's right. Thanks, Balázs. And actually, thank you guys, all of you, for brilliant demonstrations. It was really nice to see the progress, actually, and the impact that the last 2 weeks' work brought. Let me just refer quickly to the next steps and the schedule for upcoming days. Two main before we go to the update on TenderDash, because also we'll have a really short, nice update on our consensus engine. But before that, let us refer to objectives for the protocol part and SDK. So obviously, still finalizing version 22 is the top objective, and I can just follow what Ivan, Sam, and Wisdom, and Evgeny was talking about. Those needs to be polished finally and integrated in the candidate for the release. Some optimization, I mean, not optimization issues, but some smaller issues and bugs in terms of data operations in GrooveDB. And there is a plan also to bring some improvement on secondary indices, meaning improving the usability and like the ease of just querying our storage from the developer's perspective, from an application perspective that might be just utilizing the platform resources. In terms of SDK, more or less, it's about what Igor was showing to you. So improvements in wallet, optimization in wallet, making it faster, and also we plan to bring some improvements that are, say, internal. That will help us to filter out errors and misbehavior of SDK purely in the context of in-browser execution. So that's something that you can expect coming soon. I think that so Balázs, you can move on to TenderDash update.
All right. May I ask before that, Sam, would you like to add anything to what's next slide, or are we good with this?
Yeah, I'll just add that integrating as we're integrating GroveDB, a lot of the team are kind of somewhat in the low level. Oh, there's a bug, trying to fix the bug. So we're really going to hope to, on the next demo, have everything integrated and being able to present that.
Thank you. Thank you. Then I hand it over to Dima, who will talk about the TenderDash part.
Yeah, thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Dmitry Goldberg. My role is software engineer at TenderDash team. Well, at this moment, the capabilities of our team are reduced due to my teammate. Lukasz is on holiday for a couple of weeks. But regarding our plans, as you can see on the slide, it's not kind of too long topics. But well, first, we prepared to release Wizard 7 and successfully deployed on DevNet. It was pretty straightforward since we have a tool that can take it over for us all. Second one, backport of Wizard 7 to V08 was postponed because Lukasz was working on it and we decided to postpone it until he will come back. And also, this task is temporarily blocked by mine. Because the backporting Tendermint and TenderDash between the versions are closely related to each other. Well, and third, the last but not least, we're still working on backporting Tendermint Wizard 35. We're trying to fix TenderDash so it can be stable in E2E test because this case, which we have, are not stable at this moment. And since unit tests are green, it's quite difficult to identify the problem which we have in TenderDash. Probably that is a error, probably we missed something during the backport or yeah, and E3 log output doesn't always provide for us honest information, and the result may be different between the kind of between the runs of test, and sometimes test even can be passed. Well, every day we have a small progress, but so far the backport is not ready for usage. I believe we are pretty close to the finish of this task, and yeah, we have a plan for next sprint working on it as well. And yeah, I'm done.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you for
anything else to add?
I would like to add really one thing, just to preface. The version that's needed for our next release, V22, is 0.7. So I would like to point out that the TenderDash team is done with their work that's needed for the next version, and they're working on the future on the what's needed for V23. Not so.
Yeah, thank you very much for this addition. All right then. Then it is question time, I believe. We have at least 2 questions. May I hand it over to Ivan may I just read the question out loud and hand it over to the teams. So please explain key strengths of platform over Covenant SQL, FlurryDB, HBase Chain DB, Postchain, SkySQL, and B, what gives you the confidence that developers will choose platform over these solutions?
Before you take this, Ivan, I think that I would like to say one thing. I don't think that we can really answer this question entirely on this chat. So, Ivan, you can answer. I mean, I'm sure you know these solutions to some extent, just like I do. But I think that what we really need to do is answer this more in a blog post, because this is going to be a recurring question. So hopefully, we'll be able to write a blog post answering this in detail. But right now, let's just, Ivan, you can add some information because I saw that you wanted to answer.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, actually, I really briefly checked these projects. I mean, some of them I knew before, because this list was posted on the last quarterly call. And so, really quick, HBase Chain DB is just key value database, while we are providing like document-oriented experience, basically. So you not just storing the key and value, you can store the documents, and you can index the fields of these documents to make complex queries. And it's a very different thing. And the edge-based chain is more like for big data thing. SkySQL is just a cloud-based database which uses MariaDB under the hood, so it's centralized solution. It's not at all what we are doing. Post-chain, it's kind of thing for the private blockchains, and I didn't find anything like regarding the cryptographic proofs for the queries. So it seems like you need to have a full node to query data. But in our case, we have pretty efficient cryptographic proofs that you can use to verify data on light clients, like on mobile devices and stuff like that, which is pretty important nowadays, right? I wasn't able to check the Fluorine details, but what I noticed is graph-based database. So it's kind of pretty specific structure to store data, and not all cases are suitable for that. I mean, I need to pay more time on this. It's a pretty interesting thing. And Covenant SQL. I mean, it's a lot of interesting information on the web page of this product, but it says like white paper coming soon. So I wasn't able to read any technical information about how it works underneath. And I would like to also add that actually there are many projects which are working in the field of providing the storage for decentralized applications, such as like Ceramic Network, IDX, Steel, and TiceDB is very kind of similar what we are doing. It's like SQL based, but it's all of them have some downsides and some benefits. And but I never met the solution and the product what we are trying to build with the goal to provide the similar experience for the developers as they would use the Web2 technologies like Firebase or like MySQL or MongoDB. So they don't need to learn Solidity and some blockchain crazy concepts what many projects introduced. I mean, it's something absolutely new, and it still works like in Web3 in decentralized world, and like provides the same experience and more or less same the latency, the performance. So I think we are unique in this for at this moment, as far as I know.
Thank you.
Yes, and I would like to say that we had one of our team members do an extensive search before we started off, and there was nothing. We, all of us did a search. One did more, like we can't all do everything, but one person on our team like looked at pretty much all the projects, and every single one has downsides. There are some that get close to what we want, but don't actually do everything. And like the closest that we got was actually Merck, our previous solution before GroveDB. But Merck did not support secondary indexes. So I think what we really need to do is we need to take all of these different projects, and I think that it merits a blog post explaining like what each project actually offers, and then you'll be able to see GroveDB with RS drive secondary indexes and all the check marks that we needed for our project. Whereas, like, for example, we need the ability to have efficient proofs. Many, blockchain database is a term, let's say, that's used a little bit loosely, because pretty much what is a database? It is somewhere that stores data. But it, there is storing data, and then there's being able to efficiently get the data back in a decentralized way. It's not the same thing. So I think this really does merit a good explanation to our community. And
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
it's a good idea.
Thank you. All right. I don't know who to address the second question. The second. Please.
Go on. No, go on. Please say it.
So I wanted to read it out loud. Yeah. So has the team considered adding a smaller tier of master nodes, for example, staking 100 Dash instead of 1000? I think that if our aim is mass adoption, the barrier for entry needs to be more inclusive and equitable.
Sure, I'll take that question. So a quick preface that we should have explained on this call, but we did not. Inside of Dash Core Group, we have 3 development kind of umbrellas. One of them is the platform team. One of them is the core team. It's core inside of core. We should, it's a little bit a naming issue. And then one of them is the mobile team. So we really have 3 development groups. This current review is for the platform team who do not write the code that decides Masternode collateral. That would be the core team. However, as CTO, I can answer this question. It has been heavily considered, and Masternode shares are something that we really want to do and is on our roadmap. As I talked about on the quarterly call just a few days ago, that we are currently looking for extra capacity in the core team so we can move faster with these features. It would not be reducing the collateral of masternodes to 100, but it would instead be masternode shares, where shares could be a smaller denomination that you would put in. You would not get the same rights as a full masternode, but instead you would still be able to stake. I mean, you would be able to stake, but you would not have like a full voting rights in the governance system, for example.
Thank you very much. So the third question is, are there Python libraries for Dash?
No.
Yes.
Well, actually, there are Python libraries for Dash, but they will not be supporting everything that we are doing for our MVP release. The reasoning is we really want to get this out, and we want to put all of our development capacity into doing so. So we have 3 SDKs that will be released on mainnet. We have one for Android, we have one for iOS development, and we have one in JavaScript. There will eventually, most likely, be one in Python. It is kind of the 4th language in the roadmap, but it will not be at our platform release this year.
At this moment, only, as far as I know, only DAPI client implemented in Python. So you will be able to interact with the DAPI and the Masternode network.
Yeah, you'll be able, like, I've looked at that client. You can query things, but you can't verify the things that you got back are actually true.
Just API client, basically, for now.
Yeah.
It's,
so
maintaining by incubator, as I know.
Yeah. So it's,
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So the 4th question is, will the SQL support allow third-party ORMs like Prisma, which supports SQL with Postgres, to work with platform/Drive?
Ooh, we have to think about that one. SQL support allow third-party ORMs. Well, currently,
it's providing the SQL interface to query data from the API. So,
well, currently we have not planned on that feature. The SQL support was really to allow debugging, and instead through DAPI, we have our own queryable interface. I mean, it's basically like a selection of where clauses and order by clauses. Well, we could, you know, Ivan, we can talk about it over the next 2 weeks. It is a good question, and maybe get back with an answer next time. What do you think?
Sounds good.
All right. Nice. Politically correct way to put. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you for answering these questions. And of course, the last question, we just got one, when we will have the V10 22.
So really, we're in the, we're just trying to fix bugs at the moment. We have all the functionality done. Ivan spent the last few days on my bug that I mentioned earlier. And then we resolve those. It's going to be very shortly. Right now, we only really know of, Ivan, how many bugs do we know of? I know of one.
I know one.
Okay, so we know of two. There we go.
Yeah, probably two or three. Yeah. So I mean, we fixed this non-deterministic thing, and I faced with another one. We'll talk about it later. And okay. Yeah.
So that's not to say there won't be more. But at the moment, well, we only know of two, so it should, I mean, assuming that there are only two, well, it should be any day now. But it could be that we fix those two and then we run it, and after a few hours there's another one, or even after like 10 minutes. It's not, we're not 100% sure at this point.
Yeah, thank you. I also wanted to just add and highlight that basically we are very transparent about our progress, and you can ask in the dev forums as well. I mean the Discord chat as well if you have any questions. And we are trying to, that's why we are doing these demos as well. So really trying to be transparent about our progress. And that's what we can do, and doing our best to finish these as well. All right, then. Any other questions, comments from the team? If nothing else, I would like to thank you, and please stay with us next time as well, 2 weeks from now. And thank you for your attention. We really appreciate your questions and also feedback. If you have any, please just post it in the comments or in the community forums. We are very happy and appreciate to take those into consideration. So thank you very much. Thanks for the team to present these ideas and achievements and the results that we had in the past 2 weeks, and see you in 2 weeks. Bye-bye.